Hello everyone, my name is Ivan Cabrera with ExplosiveMarketer.com, and today I'm super excited to finally reveal to you how to get listings fast with less than $500 monthly budget using a home seller source no other realtor knows about. So today is going to be video number one, and just like I've told you before, I'm actually going to be creating 4 separate videos, and I'm going to be breaking down the entire process from revealing the actual seller source, the secret seller source that no other realtor is going after, all the way to being able to get direct access to these sellers, doing the marketing, the follow-up, the conversions, and ultimately getting commission checks in your pocket. Okay, so again, I'm going to be teaching you the 4 secrets you need to become the #1 listing agent in your market via 4 different marketing videos. These are going to be 100% free. I'm going to give them to you in the next couple of days. I am currently working on these videos, so this is brand new training that I can almost guarantee you have never heard about, and this is the first time that I release it to the public. So you are in luck. You're at the right place at the right time, and I know your business is really going to change. I'm also going to show you how to easily copy and paste yourself the exact same system that we've been using to save you time and thousands of dollars in marketing money. Right? So once you're done with this training, you're going to be ahead of more than 95% of realtors out there, because in the past 16 years of me being in this business, I have not met a single agent that has been able to tap into this seller source successfully and for as little money as what I'm talking about right here, which is less than $500 monthly marketing budget. Okay, so before we continue, I want to give you a result disclaimer. I want to set your expectations straight. This system is going to work for you, but only if you follow the system to the T. Then you can expect to get your first listing in the next 30 days or less. If you continue to follow the system exactly as I lay it out for you, you can fill out your pipeline with 2 to 3 new listings every single month. And you can do it while spending less than $500 marketing budget. This is definitely the best seller source for listings, bar none, that I have ever run across in the past 15 years of being in this business. And the best thing of all is that it takes a very easy marketing plan. That's why it's so cheap, because the marketing is going to be so easy, so simple, that you're going to love this training, and you're going to see how this is going to transform your real estate business into a listing agent in your market. So make sure and don't skip any step. This is a proven system, and as long as you follow step by step, you're going to get a predictable result, which is listings and ultimately commission checks in your pocket. Okay, so I just want to show you an example. I know everybody is anxious, and I've been getting asked, please tell us what the seller source is. Don't keep taunting us. Tell us what the source is. So I just want to show you an example. But before I show you this example, you're already seeing it here. But before I tell you about it, please keep in mind, this is not the secret seller source that I'm talking about. The secret seller source that I'm going to reveal to you a little bit later down this presentation is going to take it another notch than these right here. But I just want to show you what the potential is right here, so you can see just how different these seller leads are and how much of an opportunity and advantage you're going to have in your local market. So these were recent home listings in the city of Riverside, California. These are homes that are vacant. On the left hand side, they're both in Riverside, but the left hand side is a little bit more newer property. It's like a 70s property. It has a huge lot, 3-car garage, and it's sitting in a really nice neighborhood. Well, this property right here is vacant. And the one on the right is also vacant, but it's more in an older neighborhood, more ranch style properties, and it's in a more distressed situation. But my question to you is, would you rather sit in front of the sellers, the owners that own these type of properties, or would you rather do a listing presentation in front of a physical or an expired listing where there's 20, 30 real estate agents calling them every single day? You know, these type of sellers right here, they're not getting a lot of calls from realtors because they don't live in the property. They can't track them down. You know, it's very difficult to track down these type of sellers right here. But again, I want to repeat to you, you're probably thinking, oh, well, you know, these are vacant homeowners or distress or in foreclosure. Oh, I can get my hands on that kind of list. This is not the list that I'm even talking about. This is not the secret list that I'm going to show you, the secret source that I'm going to show you. The secret source of sellers has to do with these type of sellers, but it's gonna take it even a notch higher. It's gonna take it up and super boost it to sellers that really need to sell. In these type of situations, these sellers own vacant property, so obviously they don't live there anymore. So they have a motivation to sell the property, right? But the type of sellers that I'm going to show you, the ones that we're going to be tapping into getting direct access, are going to be even more motivated than these right here, because there's going to be different things that I'm going to show you how to do to be able to access those sellers that have more motivation than these. So just sit tight, be patient, and I'm going to get to that, because I am going to reveal to you that secret seller source. And basically I'm giving you half of the formula right here. But you're probably wondering who this is for, and if you're wasting your time here or not. That's up to you. To be honest with you, I'm not a professional trainer. I'm not a professional guru. I'm not a course maker. This is the very first training that I create, and the only reason why I created is because a lot of agents have been asking me to create a course so they can duplicate this system, because until now, I've only been working one-on-one with real estate agents, and I've been teaching this system one-on-one, but I don't really teach them the exact steps that it takes to be able to generate and get direct access to these type of sellers. I just kind of make it happen for them by doing the steps for them and then charging them a lot of money, right? So today I am started creating this training, which is a video training. And again, I'm giving it for free to you right now, because I need your testimonials, and eventually I'm going to charge a lot of money for these. And the more I sell it, the higher the price is going to go up, because I do want to keep it to a limit. I have a certain number of agents in mind that I want to give access to this to. And once I have enough, I'm just going to increase the number, increase the price up and up and up, so that I don't have that many agents coming in and getting access to this training. So you that came in early can still enjoy zero competition in your market. Okay, so I am going to restrict it also based on market. I'm not going to just blast it to every single agent out there. So this is for realtors who want to become listing agents. If you always wanted to become a listing agent, then this is your chance. This is your opportunity, because until now, trying to generate seller leads, quality seller leads, was super expensive. And you probably know, because there's a lot of training courses, there's a lot of marketing agencies, there's a lot of advertisement campaigns that you can do to try to generate leads. But the problem with seller leads and good quality seller leads is that it's going to take you a lot of time and a lot of money. So you really have to have a huge budget, and you have to have a budget to be able to keep marketing consistently for a minimum of 3 to 6 months. So, and I'm talking about $10,000 to $15,000 monthly to be able to start seeing results. All right. So I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later during this training as well. This is also for realtors who want a proven system to get listings. Again, this is a proven system, kind of like McDonald's, where they take step by step and they kick out a really tasty hamburger at the end of the line, right? This is the exact same thing. You follow the steps and you're going to get a proven result. This is for experienced realtors who want to get consistent listings. If you don't have consistent listings, or you just want to dominate your market, you want to get more listings, this is for you, even if you're experienced. If you're a beginning realtor, that just started in the industry, you cannot afford not to do this, because this is what's going to help you get predictable income every single month. We would always laugh in our office about the real estate roller coaster. We would always say, "Oh, we're in the real estate roller coaster," because one month we were right up the hill. We had a lot of money. We felt like we were rich. And then 1 or 2 months we were dry. And then the next month we closed 2, 3 transactions. And the next 3 months we were dry. So by the time that we got paid, we were behind on our bills, behind on our rent, behind on our car payments, and all the money was gone by the time we would get it, or we would just have just enough to keep going month after month after month, which is not really a real estate business. And the sad truth is that more than 90% of realtors out there are in that real estate roller coaster. I've seen it firsthand from working in large real estate firms. All right, so what is the secret seller source? That is the question that you want to know, and I am going to reveal it to you right now. And I'm going to show you how it's going to help you get listings that no other realtor is going after. So my goal for today in this training is to reveal the secret seller source that no realtor knows about, and to prove to you that this is the seller source you should be focusing on and the huge potential it has for you in your business. So I know it's going to transform your business. So please, I ask you to watch this video all the way to the end of the training and just judge for yourself. Just wait for the end of the training, watch it all. Don't make any assumptions until you finish the entire video. After you watch the entire video, then decide if you want to continue with this training. I know that as realtors, we're always extremely busy, but this could definitely change your business for the better. So it's going to be well worth it. Okay, so you're probably wondering who I am and why you should listen to me. Well, my name is Ivan Cabrera. You can see me right there where the green arrow is pointing. This is a large real estate firm where I was a real estate agent as well as the executive marketing director. As an executive marketing director, I was in charge of training over 50 realtors on lead generation. Mostly, I would show them how to generate home buyer leads because it was the easiest, it was the fastest, and it was the cheapest types of leads for me to generate. I still generate home buyer leads, and it's still a good source of leads. But lately, I'm focusing on sellers because of the way the market is right now. It's so competitive. There's very few listings. And I know we need more listings out there. So that's the reason why I shifted my focus entirely onto sellers right now. I'm also the founder of the Property Launch System, which is a home selling marketing system for realtors. Basically, it uses the latest technology, the latest marketing techniques for realtors. And at the same time, it shows you that you basically gave your listing or the seller's property absolute maximum listing exposure, so that the seller knows that the home was exposed to as many people as possible, and they know that they got the highest price possible, that they were able to net the most money possible. So this is a system that uses highly advanced marketing techniques, and we do it for them, for real estate agents. At the same time, since it allows sellers to see that their home is being viewed by so many potential buyers, it allows you to work with sellers, and sellers will know that they got the most money for their property. That way, when they walk away from the sale of that property, they know that you did the best you could to get the most money for them. They'll give you the best reviews, they give you good referrals, and they'll give you good testimonials for you to get more business from that one listing. Right. I'm also the CEO and founder of ExplosiveMarketer.com, which is basically a marketing agency that allows me to create this type of training so that I'm able to train other realtors like yourself. And I also help a couple business owners in different type of niches to generate clients and exposure. And again, until now, I was only working one-on-one with realtors that paid me a lot of money to be able to generate them leads. But now I'm creating this video training course where I can teach a lot more of you without me having to be out there for many hours trying to teach you everything that I know. All right, so that's a little bit about me. I also consider myself for the past 10 years as an investor-friendly realtor. For the past 10 years, I started focusing on working with real estate investors. So I've always been drawn to investment properties, and it's the reason why I stumbled upon this seller source that no realtor is going after, or they don't know how to go after. Basically what I focused on is finding properties under market value. So going direct to sellers that did not have the property listed on the market, did not have the property anywhere, and being able to get access to these type of sellers, and then making them an offer from my investor. I would represent my investor buyers. They would buy the property, they would fix the property, and then I would list the property for them. And that's how that was my business model for a little bit over 10 years. All right. So this is just another property in Norwalk. The first one is in Brea on the left-hand side. The top one is in Norwalk. These are all fixer-uppers. And we've also done land acquisitions. So I helped negotiate a land acquisition to an investor group who built 6 tri-level townhomes, basically. And they basically made a lot of money in this property. And they're still making it because the value is going up. Rents are going really high. So they've done very, very well with these type of properties. So that was my focus for the past 10 years. So I've done the time, I've paid the price. I worked with foreclosure properties back when the market was low, 2009, 2010. I've worked with apartment notes, foreclosure notes, short sales. I've done a lot of different distressed properties, and it's just the niche that I like doing, But until now, I didn't really set up a program where I could list properties instead of just working with investors and just looking for deals for investors. I was just looking for deals for investors, and I was not focusing on listing these type of properties. So I was wasting so many leads until I was able to convert these motivated sellers into listings. Because the majority of the time when we made offers, 80% of those sellers never became deals. They never accepted our offers because we needed to get the properties at a big discount so that the investor could have enough room to be able to fix the property and resell the property and still make a profit. Right. So my first experience with real estate was actually with an REO. So I started working as a broker assistant. I was actually even taking his clothes to the cleaners. I was not licensed, and I just did everything for him. I was even doing BPOs back when, banks were paying like $25 for every BPO, $50 for broker price opinions. When the house was in foreclosure, was when it was in a short sale situation. And this broker that I was working with, I was his personal assistant, and I was not licensed. But at the time that I was working with him, he allowed me to take my courses and get licensed. So I took my classes, and in the meantime, while I was getting licensed, I was learning a lot about distressed properties, about investors, because eventually he started getting REO listings, real estate owned listings from bank owned properties from Wells Fargo and Bank of America. And guess what? Since I was the assistant, I was handling almost everything. I was handling the offers, I was handling the showings, I was handling the communication with the investor. So I was doing a lot of the work, and I was able to learn a lot about working with distressed properties. So, the first thing that I wanted to do, what I always wanted to do, was know how to generate buyer and seller leads, which I know is what everybody realtor wants, right? So I started getting a lot of courses, a lot of trainings. I went to a lot of live events, coaching, softwares, etc. So I've spent so much time, so much money, and I've learned this business the hard way. And when I was finally licensed, I realized that there was two type of realtors in the office. That office had almost 100 realtors. We were in Newport Beach, California. And I noticed that only 1% of realtors in that office were doing very well. But I noticed that most of them did not really work that much. They were just going to sit on appointments. They were getting appointments, and they were just going every week to appointments and just getting listings. The other 99% were working with buyers, were doing social events, they were networking, they were trying to get referrals from friends and family. So that's what the other 99%, the 99% were not doing any marketing. They did not have any marketing plan. And the agents that were doing very, very well, they had a solid marketing plan. The only thing was that the marketing was usually expensive. They were spending anywhere from $5,000 up to, I know an agent that was spending about $25,000 a month just to generate home buyer and home seller leads. They were doing everything the old way, doing door hangers, direct mail, postcards, letters. They weren't doing anything different. They were just doing everything the old way, and they were spending that much money because the response rates were very, very low. So they had to spend that much money to be able to get some business out of it. And it wasn't something that happened in 2 or 3 weeks. It was something that took 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So that's why you had to have a large budget so that you can continue to market consistently. All right. So I started working with real estate investors. I focused on off-market home sellers. And I started to try to figure out a way to find direct access to these off-market home sellers that really needed to sell. So again, I noticed that successful investors and realtors had a proven marketing system, right? But the bad thing and the negative thing about marketing and real estate is that the market changes, and there's new technology coming out. Technology changes. You could be doing one type of marketing and it's working great, and then the market changes. It becomes from a buyer's market to a seller's market, and the marketing stops working. So you constantly have to be testing and tweaking and trying different stuff, trying different things. A new ad platform comes in. Facebook came out. We started playing with that. It was so difficult to work with that. Then we started generating buyer leads. We started learning how to do it, but only after a while of testing and tweaking and spending a lot of money in testing campaigns, right? But I had never been able to crack the code with seller leads, seller listings, especially cracking it while getting fast results and spending as little money as possible. All right. So now I finally, after 15 years, I finally discovered the hard way, the seller source, the follow up, and how to get listings with under $500 marketing budget, which is what I'm going to reveal to you today. So if you've tried any seller lead generation source in the past and it has not worked, this is probably why. It's probably because you did not have enough money to continue marketing consistently. You see, there's this concept that I realized I call the marketing tipping point. And basically, the marketing tipping point is all about knowing your numbers, knowing how much money it takes to get one deal in your pocket, one commission in your pocket. It's all gonna work backward. It's about how much money you need to spend, how many leads you need to generate, how many phone calls, how many appointments. But ultimately, what you wanna drill down to is how much money you have to spend to be able to get a closed transaction, a commission check in your pocket, because that's what really is gonna matter. But the problem is that you won't get to this stage unless you do it first. You have to do trial and error. You have to spend the money. You have to test, try campaigns, try different marketing methods. And that could take a long time. I'm telling you, it's been over 15 years of trial and error, testing different things. So the marketing tipping point, basically what it is how much money do I need to spend to be able to actually get one deal, one listing, and close that listing, basically. So a big mistake that I did in the past is that I would not have enough budget. So let's say I would have $1,000. $1,000 was right here. I would spend $1,000 and it takes some time. It costs $1,000 and I would not get a listing. So I would run out of marketing budget and I would wait another 2-3 months until I closed another transaction. And then next time I close, I spend another $1,000 or another $1,500 to try to generate another seller listing. And maybe this time, if I did $1,500, I was right here. I spent $1,500 and nothing. Well, eventually I realized, I got tired of spending, $1,000, $1,500, $1,000. I did it multiple times because I was testing and tweaking different things. Eventually, I was starting to do well, and I had a really good month. So I decided to spend all of one transaction, the entire commission check of one transaction, where I made close to $11,000. So I said, I'm gonna put $11,000 into this seller marketing, and I'm just going to make this work. So what I did is I wanted to follow up for 90 days on one single list. So the list is not from motivated sellers that I'm talking to you right now. It's not these type of sellers. It was just normal absentee owner sellers that have been living in their properties for more than like 5 or 10 years. Those were the only lists that I was able to get to, and those were the only lists that I was mailing out to. So when I started doing that, I had almost $11,000 in budget. So I decided to break it down into 3 months. And, I spent about roughly $3,000 and change every month. So then the first month I didn't get anything. The second month, I got a lot of leads, a lot of phone calls, a lot of potential sellers. The third month, I landed a deal. I found a seller that was desperate enough to sell the property. The investor made an offer. The seller accepted the cash offer. We closed in about 10 days on that transaction. The seller got their money. The investor renovated the property and then listed it. And I made 2 commissions. One representing the buyer investor when they bought it from the motivated seller. The other one when we listed the property and we sold it to a retail buyer after the investors fixed the property. So then I realized, oh man, so I got to keep spending close to $3,500 every month to be able to land one seller. So what started happening is when I started spending that much money, I was averaging out one deal every month. Sometimes, let's say it was November, I would get one deal in November. It wasn't from a seller that had received my marketing that month. It was from a seller that had received my marketing months before, let's say in July. But since I was consistent, they kept getting my marketing, and it took them a couple months to get motivated enough to be able to call me, take action and call me and be able to make that deal. So I realized that the marketing tipping point for the type of marketing that I was doing, and it's different for every type of marketing. For Facebook ads, it's different. For pay-per-click, it's different. For direct mail, it's different. I was doing direct mail at that point. So I realized that for this type of marketing for sellers and direct mail, the marketing tipping point was $3,500 a month. But you needed to do consistently for about 3 months. So in reality, you needed a $10,000 budget to just get your first deal. So this is the reason why it was so difficult, and I would never got any agent to try it, because very few agents wanted to spend $10,000 just to see if they got any listings. So that's why it took me a while for me to figure out a way to bring the cost down and get direct access to better than these type of sellers. It wasn't the sellers that I was marketing to. The sellers that I'm going to show you, the secret source, is a lot better than this type of sellers that are just absentee owners. They're something related to that, but I will actually show you exactly what type of sellers I'm talking about in the next few slides. So nevertheless, I learned the hard way. I did trial and error. I bought courses, trainings, live events, software, marketing agencies. Marketing agencies are going to charge you anywhere between $500 to around $3,000 a month just to start doing marketing to try to generate leads for you. And the majority of them are still going to charge you their costs, so whatever $500 to $3,000 that they're going to charge you to do the work, plus the ad spend. So that's where it gets into $5,000, $10,000 a month marketing budget. That's why it's so hard to generate quality home seller leads that will actually lead to a real listing, because it's just so expensive, and it's not going to happen from day to night, because the strategies that they use is just normal. Just hit them and hit them and hit them until they recognize you. It's said that in marketing you have to hit somebody 7 to 8 times with the same marketing message in order for them to start responding to you. So if a postcard costs you 50 cents to send out and you're targeting 1,000, you're spending $500, and you need to do 8 touches, that is like over $4,000 that you have to spend to just try to get one deal. And if it doesn't work out the first month, the second month you have to spend those $4,000 again. So once again, it just takes so much money, so much time, and it's still a gamble. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work. If you mess up on the postcard and the postcard is not good, you're not going to get responses. You're not going to get, your money is just going to go down the drain. So I've done Facebook ads, I've done Instagram ads, I've done YouTube ads, I've done pay-per-click ads, direct mail, pay-per-lead, Zillow leads, Realtor leads. I've done basically everything. Everything that's been out there, I've tried, and I know what works, I know what doesn't. I know some of these are crappy leads, some of them are very expensive, and you still end up not making that much money. So today, I'm actually going to let you copy a proven system in the form of 4 simple video trainings that any realtor can do. So all you have to do is follow the steps, step by step. Everything that I'm going to be laying out during this video training, just follow what I'm telling you, and you're going to get results. So just make sure that every single video you watch it and you pay attention, take notes, and then just implement. So again, the 4 videos are going to be sent to you over the next week. I'm working very hard to upload everything. I am not a professional trainer or course maker, so I am recording these videos myself, I'm editing these videos myself, and I'm uploading and everything. So please be patient with me. So again, this is 100% free, and that's the reason why it's 100% free, because I am new at this, and I'm trying to put this together so that I can get to a point where then I can charge thousands of dollars for this training. But you're lucky enough that you're getting this for free because you're going to be patient with me. Okay, so the 4 secrets of seller listings. These are going to be the 4 videos that I'm going to be releasing. So video number 1 is going to be the secret seller source, which today I'm going to reveal. The source where sellers need to sell yesterday, better than the ones that I already showed you. Video number 2 training is going to be about the marketing for these type of sellers. So I'll show you the best type of marketing to use to these type of sellers, where you don't have to spend more than $500 a month. And I really mean it. I'm going to prove that to you. Video number 3 is going to show you the follow-up and the conversion, what you need to do to follow up with these sellers, and how to convert them into actual commission checks in your pocket, because that's what this is all about, making sure that you walk away with a commission check in your pocket. So I'll show you how to follow up properly and how to close these sellers into listings. Then on video number 4, I'll show you how you can copy and paste the exact system that we're using so that you have a proven system so you can get your first listing in 30 days or less, right? So I know this might sound too good to be true. This might sound like pie in the sky, but please bear with me. Watch every video to the end, and you're gonna realize on your own that this is something that you need to get your hands on and take advantage of. All right, because I know that you're probably busy out there, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. So I want to give you as much value as possible. Okay, so secret number one, the secret seller source. That's why you're here today, right? You want to know what is a secret home seller source that needs to sell fast and are almost always willing to pay full commissions. You know, working with these sellers, it's easy to negotiate full commissions because they have to sell. They have no other option versus working with for sale by owners and expired listings where there's 20 to 30 realtors going after them every day, offering them half of commission to sell their house or a quarter or 1%. You know, it's hard to get even 1% out of FSBOs and expireds. You know, been there, done that. So I know how it is out there. So the type of sellers that I'm talking about, I call them sellers on fire. So sellers on fire are sellers that have no choice but to sell their homes fast. They need to sell their properties because there's certain circumstances in their life that have merged to a point where they need to sell their house or else they're going to lose the property. And there's different types of scenarios. So I'm going to show you right now some types of sellers on the type of sellers that have, we call them also motivated sellers. These are sellers that have a motivation to sell. So a first type of seller is an absentee owner. But keep in mind, please keep in mind, because I know right now you're probably saying, oh, I knew about these sellers before. I knew about these. This is not new. What I'm going to show you is going to be better than just mailing or just getting access to absentee owners. I'm going to show you how to get direct access to better sellers than these. Yes, absentee owners will be a part of the sellers on fire, but I'm going to show you a trick that is just gonna take this to another whole new level. That's gonna skyrocket your conversions, where instead of you be having to meet with let's say 25 absentee owners to be able to get one listing, you will only have to sit down with just 4 or 5 sellers on fire to be able to get 1 or 2 listings. That's the huge difference. Obviously, it's going to depend on your experience and your closing ratio, what your how good you are at closing. But even if you're the worst closer ever, you know, with 5 of sellers on fires that you sit with and do a listing presentation, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to get at least 1 listing. You don't even need to generate hundreds, 100 leads, 100 calls, 100 appointments. No, it's going to be very, very scalable, very, very doable, very low numbers. You know, you won't have to be out there appointment after appointment after appointment after appointment, being a pushy closer, being a pushy salesman. You won't have to do any of that because there's no competition. There's literally no competition in here. And I'm going to show you, right? So the next type of sellers, these are motivated sellers, out-of-state owners. So out-of-state owners are also absentee owners, but there's absentee owners, I call absentee owners that don't live in the property, but still live in the area. Out-of-state owners are owners that have a property and they live out of the state where the property is located. So obviously, an out-of-state owner is going to be more motivated to sell their property because they don't live nearby, they can't manage the property properly or well. So if they have a tenant in there, then they're not going to be able to maintain it well. So there's a potential for them to want to sell that property much faster than a normal homeowner. So another seller type is vacant homeowners. So all these seller types, I can give you direct access, but again, I'm going to show you how to use a cool trick so that you can supercharge the type of sellers, which I call sellers on fire. These are not sellers on fire. These are part of sellers on fire. This is like 50% of the equation, but I'm going to show you how to get access to real sellers on fire. Okay, so vacant homeowners. These are homeowners that have houses that are sitting vacant. Do you think that if you sit down and do a listing presentation in front of an owner who has a vacant home where probably they still have a mortgage on it, they're still making a payment, but nobody is living in it, they're risking vandalism, they're risking squatters, they're risking the house burning down or something, do you think they'll be likely to sell that property, especially in this market where the prices have gone on significantly? These pictures right here are from homes that I visited this week. that I pulled from the list that I'm telling you about. I visited those properties right here in the city of Riverside. All right. So right now, I'm talking about right now in November. I don't know when you'll be watching this video, but right now in November, these houses were sitting vacant in a seller's market where if you put this house on the market, it'll be gone in 2 hours. So imagine you having access to this seller directly where you can actually talk to them. All right. Seller type number 4 is tax delinquent owners. So you know that if they're not paying their property taxes, most likely they're having financial issues and they're going to be likely to sell the property. Then there's people in foreclosure 60 days or more. After 90 days, they only have 21 days before the house is auctioned off. So after 60 days is when sellers start panicking and they start looking for ways to get rid of the property without going into foreclosure. So this is when they start thinking about selling, right? But that's not a seller on fire. Those are not really seller on fire. Those are those are 50% of the equation. This is a seller on fire. And this is where you need to pay attention, because now I'm going to reveal to you the seller source where sellers really need to sell like yesterday, like fast. All right. So this is a seller on fire, a homeowner who is an absentee owner who lives out of state and the home is vacant. Imagine having access, direct access. You're being able to talk to homeowners that are in this kind of situation. They're an absentee owner. They're not living in the property. They live out of state. They're not able to go and maintain the property and look after the property, and the home is vacant. There's nobody living there. They're not generating any income from the property. They're risking vandalism and squatters going in there. Do you think if you get them on the phone, if you talk to 10, we've been seeing a 25% minimum conversion on people that suck at closing, 25% conversion on these type of seller leads, sellers on fire. And you know how long it took me to get access to these type of sellers? It used to be impossible to be able to get these type of sellers that had, we call them motivations. So they had at least 2 motivations or more. In this case, they have 3 motivations. And every time you stack one more, they're going to be more likely to sell the property. So what about this type of seller? This is another seller on fire. A homeowner who is in foreclosure, 60 days or more. He's tax delinquent. Obviously, if he can't pay the mortgage payment, he's not paying the taxes. And he's an absentee owner. He doesn't live in the property. He doesn't have a big motivation to keep making the payment, continue keeping the property. What if you get your hands on the contact information and be able to talk to 10 of these homeowners that are in this particular situation, that are around your backyard, in your county, in your city, in your neighborhood? 10 people. How many of those do you think you can close? Even if you suck at converting these sellers, I can guarantee you'll get 1 or 2 out of every 10 that you talk to. Those are the numbers that agents that don't have experience but just follow this to the T, those are the numbers that they're seeing. All right. So there's very little competition. Why? Because it's so difficult to get access to these type of homeowners. It's very, very difficult. It's not easy. So this is your competition. You're gonna be in competition with fix and flip investors, because fix and flip investors, they have the budget. They have the large budgets. Most fix and flip investors are spending anywhere between $15,000 and $25,000 a month to generate properties, to try to get access to properties that are not on the market and get direct access to the seller, because these sellers that are sellers on fire, they're motivated enough. They need money fast. They need to get cash fast. So they need to sell the property fast. So these are the type of deals that investors are looking for. These are the deals that I was looking for. That's why I stumbled into this type of seller source, but I didn't realize that I could make more money by listing than just finding deals, because I didn't have a large enough budget until now that I've been able to figure out how to get this type of leads with a very low budget. They're $500 marketing. So this is the type of investors that you're going to be working with. Investors are going to be competing with you. So they're going to be trying to buy houses from these sellers on fires that you're going to be having access to. But I'm going to show you how you're going to blow them over the water. They're not even going to be competition for you. The other ones are wholesalers. Wholesalers are wannabe investors. So they get good at marketing. They know how to find sellers on fires, and then they negotiate a really low price on the offer. So what they do is they find the seller on fire, they negotiate and they sign the contract for a price. So let's say that the property is worth $600,000. They'll find a seller on fire that needs to sell quickly, and they'll say, I'll pay you $400,000 cash and I'll close in 7 days. They'll sign, the seller says, fine, I need to sell this quick. They sign it for $400,000, and he gets a contract. He's the buyer. What he does is he sells that contract to a cash investor that is going to fix and flip that property. So now he got it for 400,000 with this seller because he doesn't know, the cash investor, the flip investor, he doesn't know how to market to get sellers and buyers, but the wholesaler does. So he got to him first. He got the contract signed. He takes that contract. He assigns it to the cash investor, fix and flipper. And now instead of selling it to him for 400, well, he's getting it. He sells it to him for 450, and the house is still, after he renovates it, maybe it's worth 550 or 600. And now this guy is making 50,000 in the middle. But the average wholesale seller, wholesale buyer actually makes between $15,000 and $25,000. But it's still pretty good for not doing anything. And they really never buy the property. They just right away, they already have a list of cash investors. And as soon as they get that into contract, they send it to their list. They allow cash investors to go look at the house for a 30-minute window. That's all they have. And then they make a cash offer with experienced, advanced investors that know what they're doing and are able to buy houses cash with just seeing it 30 minutes. We used to do that. We used to work with wholesalers, and we used to get properties with the investors that I represented. We used to get properties from wholesalers. One wholesaler made 70,000 on a wholesale deal on a property that they wholesale to my investor, and I still make the commission, and the my investor still made like $45,000 on that. So imagine how much discount this wholesaler got. Which is money that the seller on fire could have gotten if they were working with somebody like you and listing the properties. So then the other competition is other realtors, but other realtors, all they know how to do is send postcards to the primary address. So there's always going to be the subject address of the property and the primary address where the owner is living. They just send regular postcards of regular normal realtor. I'm the best realtor here in town. They don't really know how to get the seller's attention. And a seller that really needs to sell quickly, you need to be able to know what message to write so that they can respond to you right away, so you can actually talk to them, or better yet, have access so that you can call them directly, which is what I'm going to show you how to do. Right. So what I always preach is for you to become a realtorpreneur. So realtorpreneur basically is a mix between a realtor and an investor. So I do not preach for you to become an investor unless you really know what you're doing. Then you can do investor deals with this type of properties, but you don't need to. You have a license. You can represent the seller. If you find the seller first, we can represent him and make a commission, and then have the opportunity to make more commissions. So now you can give a home seller options when you know what you're doing, when you know how to work with these type of sellers. This is where you become a realtorpreneur. So you're going to be a realtorpreneur versus regular investors and wholesalers. This is what your competition is going to look like. All right. So let me just go and put everything out here. So as a realtorpreneur, when you contact a seller on fire, you don't need to offer them 20 to 30% below market value. An investor who wants to fix and flip it, they need to offer 20 to 30% equity discount below market value, because they need to have enough room for them to be able to fix the property and flip the property. You as a realtor, you don't need to ask for a discount. You're going to list it and you're going to get the highest possible offer, the highest money for them. You don't need big chunks of cash, 500,000 to 1 million in my market if you want to fix a property. Investors, they need big chunks of cash. They need 500,000 to 1 million. You can net sellers more money in their pockets. Investors can't net sellers more money in their pocket because they got to get the biggest discount possible, because their profit relies on that. The more discount, the more profit they make. They're very profit focused. So you can bring multiple offers from other wholesalers, from other fix and flippers, and other retail buyers. So once you list that property with that for that seller on fire, you'll be able to bring the highest net to that seller, because you're going to bring all types of buyers. And I'm going to show you how to get access to those buyers. I'm going to show you how to market properly so you can get a bunch of wholesalers and fix and flippers and retail buyers that are willing to pay the most, and they're going to bid against each other so that your seller gets the most money for that property. Investors can't do that. So guess what? You win and they lose. You're going to get that listing almost every time, as long as you follow everything step by step. All right. So the other cool part, and this is something that is so amazing, because you have the opportunity to get 3 commissions with just one home, one transaction, because you can represent the investor buyer, you can represent investor seller, and you can represent the retail buyer. So let me show you a little diagram. Three commissions is the potential for you to make on one transaction. So let's say that you use my marketing method and you contact one seller on fire, right? So this is going to be right here, the seller on fire that needs to sell the property fast. He says, yes, I'll sell it. You send him the listing. He signs a listing agreement. And then it's a house like this one. It's all torn up. So chances are a retail buyer, a buyer that's going to live in the property, is not going to buy this one. So you're going to put it on the market. You're going to market it the way I tell you so you can attract a lot of investors. And a lot of investors are going to start approaching you. So especially in a competitive seller's market like it is right now, when there's a lot of buyer competition, investors right now are dying for deals. So they're competing also. They're competing. They're very aggressive and they're very competitive. So guess what? Investors are going to start approaching you as the listing agent, and they're going to say, hey, can you represent me? I want to offer this much. Can you represent me and be my agent? Then you get the highest agent that can give the most, the highest investor that can give the most money, and you can represent them if that is what is best for the seller. Obviously, that's going to be your decision to make. But this would happen with me all the time. You know, we had a property like this, and then investors wanted the property so much that they would let me represent them. So if I negotiated 4, 5, 6% with the seller on fire, then I would keep everything, because now I'm representing the investor buyer. So, and I'm also representing the seller on fire, the seller and the investor buyer. So right here, I'm just using hypothetical, very conservative commissions, because it's going to depend on your area. There's going to be some areas that maybe you won't get more than 2%, you know, 1% for representing the seller and 1% for representing the buyer. Maybe that, you know, it has never really happened that way, but I just want to be very conservative so you can see the potential that you can make with these type of transactions when you put them together correctly. All right. So an investor buyer, you represent them, you represent the buyer, you represent the seller right here. You make 1 to 2%. Then that investor is going to list the property. If you're smart and you create a good relationship with that investor, you're going to get that listing back from that investor. So you're going to list that property. Now, after they renovate the property, the house is going to be worth a lot more. So they're going to list for higher. So if they bought it for $500,000, you're no longer going to list it for $500,000. Maybe you're going to list it for $650,000, maybe even more. But I'm just using $500,000 just to be ultra conservative. All right, because I don't want to show you something that is not possible. I want to make sure that I'm keeping my expectations very, very low on what you can make, just so that you can see that there's a huge potential. So once you list the property for that investor, then you're going to get another 1 to 2% on your side. But guess what? You're doing open houses, you're doing marketing correctly. If you're doing the property launch system, you're generating a lot of buyer leads. And again, right now with the competition that, you know, the way the market is, maybe buyers are going to come to you and they're going to say, hey, can you represent me? I really want this house. A retail buyer is going to come to you. So now you're going to get another 2 to 3% commission. So if this is the minimum that you're getting, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, now you have potential for 3 commissions. If we only figure it at 500,000, again, we said this is going to be much higher right here and right here, because the price after you renovate the property is going to be a lot more than this. All right. So, but just keep the number simple. When you're representing the investor buyer and they buy it for 500,000, you're going to make between 5,000 and 10,000 right here as soon as they buy it. Then they're going to renovate it, put it on the market, list it. Once they get a buyer, since you're going to be the listing agent, you're going to make another $5,000 to $10,000. If you're able to find the buyer as well and double end this deal, represent the buyers, you're going to make another 10 to 15,000. Because on the retail side, you're always going to, well, at least in our market, we're always offering 2 to 3%. So now we're increasing the commissions, all right? And again, it's not going to be 500,000, it's going to be more because now it's renovated. But just to make it easy and give you numbers that are reasonable, okay? So now you have the potential to make a total of 4 to 7% commission on one transaction, one seller on fire that you found using my system. You'll be able to have a potential of 4 to 7%, which equals to about $20,000 to $35,000 commission. Obviously, it's going to depend on your market. Our market, where I'm at right now, the median home price is about $550,000. So these are numbers that I'm using that are realistic here in my area. If you're in an area where your median price is $150,000, $200,000, $250,000, I don't know where you're at, then obviously you got to adjust for that. But no matter what, you have the potential for 3 different commissions. See, that's what's so awesome about this type of system. That is what's so awesome about working with these sellers. Because now if you're doing 10 transactions a year, if you're used to doing 10 transactions a year, you can still be doing 10 of these transactions a year, but now you can potentially double or triple to 20 to 30 transactions a year and double or triple your income because you are creating more transaction out of the same amount of houses, that you're working with. So your workload is not going up, but the commission is increasing dramatically. So that is huge. So make sure you really pay attention to this, because that is why I really love working with this distressed sellers, motivated sellers. For this course's purposes, I call them sellers on fire, because I know it sounds harsh, but in reality, they need somebody to put out that fire. They need you to help them get rid of that fire that they have, or else they're going to get burned. So that is the power of these type of sellers. So I hope you're as excited as me, because this is something that I have never released to anybody publicly like this. And for the very first time, I'm going to release it out there. So coming up next is going to be training video number 2. I'm going to be showing you the marketing that you need to do to these sellers, the best type of marketing to use so that you spend no more than $500 and you're getting at least 1 to 3 listings every single month. All right. So I'm going to show you how to pick a market area. I'm going to show you how to pick 2 motivations minimum, how to get a list of motivated sellers or sellers on fire that have at least 2 motivations or more. I'm going to show you how to pull the list. I'm going to show you how to skip trace so that you have the direct phone numbers to these sellers. And basically, I'm going to show you the exact marketing steps to use so that you spend no more than $500 and you're getting these opportunities for you to get 3 commissions every single time with every single seller on fire. I hope you're as excited as I am, and I hope you really love this video. If you do, and there's an opportunity for you to like this video or put a comment below this video, there should be a way for you to leave a comment or send us an email. And I'd be happy to hear from you if you're enjoying this type of video, if you're enjoying this training, because I have not, over 15 years in this business, I have not seen anybody teaching this specific strategy. There's people doing variations of these, but not this specifically, where you're going after hyper targeted, ultra motivated sellers that have a high opportunity or have a high chance of wanting to sell their property, where you don't need to buy 5,000 leads. You don't need to send 1,000 or 3,000 or 5,000 mailers to be able to get 1 or 2 listings. None of that. So be on the lookout for the next video training for the actual marketing steps on how to get access to the list. I'm going to show you the website, the database that I go into, that is the most reliable list, up-to-date list that you can get of records of these type of sellers, and the most accurate skip tracing companies so that you get the most accurate phone numbers for these sellers. It's going to blow your mind away. So I'm going to get ready to take this to a next level. I hope you're ready. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna try to record the next video as soon as possible and upload it and have it available to you. As soon as it's available, I'm going to send it to your email. So make sure that you are receiving my emails. Make sure that if my email that I sent to you when you subscribe to this training was in the spam folder or in the junk folder, that you marked it not spam, or you moved it to your primary and you whitelisted us so that you continue to get every single training as it becomes available, because it's not going to be available forever. Okay. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next training. Take care.